Trigger warning, if you do not have an open mind and if you're very, close-minded. If you're very close-minded and if you're very, cookie cutter and you don't like people who are open-minded and say whatever the heck they want and cuss and whatever not, this podcast.
Don't listen.
116 Hotline.
This is your girl, Sadie.
This is Valby.
And this is Tana.
And we're just going to talk about anything.
Oh, yes.
Anything but
especially how we met and how
we met
came about.
And the backstory behind this whole thing and the name.
Because inquiring minds want to know.
Yes. Why 116?
And why us three? And why the hottest girls
and
in the
are
world?
Who are we? Where did we come from? Okay, well, 2009. Well, if you guys don't know, me and Satana are sisters.
Yes.
And Sadie is like our long lost sister. We say sister from another mister.
So Sadie is a sister by choice. Me and Valerie, we have no fucking choice. Like we're stuck together.
Anyways, we met because one of Sadie's cousins is kind of like our cousin. And then that's how we met. And she came over to our house during the summer to show us what is it? Aquamarine movie. And we were like, oh my gosh, who's this girl? Because we were probably like 10. No, 11. 11, 12.
11, 12, I think.
Yeah.
Wait, so were you the reason why we saw Aquamarine?
Aquamarine, yeah. Because
what?
Because she brought it over.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes, did you forget?
No, I have done so many.
Oh gosh.
My brain is fried.
But no, yeah, Valerie remembers because she was the one that was clowning me because I brought the DVD.
Yeah, wow. And the CD wasn't in there.
My cousin brought me over to bring the movie because he was like, oh yeah, we have a lot of new little cousins from Wisconsin, blah blah blah. So yeah, come meet them. And then I came and I was like, oh yeah, how about let's take this movie over there? And he was like, okay. I was so excited and everything. And we brought in Valerie and Tati and the little girls. They were all so excited. Valerie opened the CD. No, I think I opened it, the cover, and it was empty. And she looked at me. She was like clowning me. I forgot what she was saying. She was like laughing in my face. She goes, oh my God, where is it? Like bullying me. And I was like so embarrassed. My face turned around. I was like, oh no, guys, like everybody, just imagine from my point of view, all of the little girls were like laughing at me. And I was like, oh God, heart pounding fast and shit. And then yeah. And then I remember, Tony introduced me to every one of you. And he said, this is Anna Banana. This is Tati something. And when he got to Valerie, I just remember Valerie's little scrawny self.
My voice used to be so high pitched.
Her voice was so high pitched. She was so scrawny. And I just imagine this is the camera. And her face, her whole body just got in front of the screen oh yeah, I'm Valerie.
Interrupting everybody oh yeah, my name is Val. Hi.
With her head moving so energetic. And I just remember meeting her for the first time. I was like, oh, okay. And I was
what the fuck is wrong with this guy?
Whoa, this family, okay. I don't remember you for some reason.
Girl, she was probably off in the chicken coop.
I know, she was in the chicken.
Inside joke.
Anywho. That's when we first
yeah, that was my first memory of you.
Yes.
My second memory of you is when we went to the the float trip. I remember her and Miley just pierced their nose with a staple. You remember that?
No, we didn't pierce it with a staple. We used a staple as a little
they used the metal part of a stapler and they used it to pierce their nose to do a nose piercing.
What? I don't remember that.
You don't remember that?
I don't think we were around a lot. I think Valerie was because maybe you were around whenever we were talking.
She was busy with the chicken coop. She was too worried about the chickens in the coop.
No,
about the roosters, about the cock-a-doodle-doos.
The only thing I remember about Sadie is that one time she came over with her mom and dad to help us do an eating thing in the backyard.
Oh.
And then I remember she had these no, I don't know if you were there. She had these sandals on, and all I remember was her taking off her. It was those sandals that were
the gladiator ones.
Kind of, yes, gladiator ones where it took her hella long to take off the sandals because she started being a pretty girl, and I'm like, who the fuck is this girl wearing these sandals to an eating thing if you're gonna have to clean up? And I'm like, something wrong with her.
I don't remember that.
I don't remember that. Well, I think I remember the eating thing, but I know I know exactly what you're talking about.
When you were sitting on those steps and you was trying really hard
to take. Remember?
Because all I remember is you took so long to take off your shoes. I'm like, bruh.
I love that memory. This is my first time hearing that from you.
Yeah, I remember.
I swear.
I've never talked about it.
Love to see
I
it.
remember
Love
the
to hear it.
staple because I was like, man, they got their nose piercing. I was like, that's so cool. And I remember you got in trouble by your mom.
She was like,
Your
yeah,
mom
yelling at me in front of like
bitching at you.
everybody.
Because
And
they
I was like,
literally took the piece of the stapler, the metal piece, the actual staple.
we put it. No, I don't remember how we pierced it.
Is
but
it
we
that
used,
same hole?
No, this is like we
That's
pierced
professionally.
it. Professionally. That was like way back then when we first moved here, not too long ago from California, or maybe it was a while. I don't know. And then we pierced our nose. Me and Miley, my cousin. Shout out to Miley if you're hearing this. But anyway,
What's up, Angel?
Hey yo, Angel 559 represent. Okay, but then like,
She a Minnesota gal now.
we're gonna tag her so she can. I'm cracking up at this. But anyway, so then we had put I didn't have a nose ring at the time. We were kids, right? So that's why we used the little metal part and to stick it in there. And there's a little L. You know how it's kind of like an actual little ring. So we stick it in there so that it won't close. And that way we can kind of hide it because we kind of cut it. So it's like the L's on the inside. So you just see a tiny bit of the little... Yeah, I'm telling you, creative minds as kids. And then so my mom and they were like, she was like, we were in front of everybody. I think her parents and then Yahoo and them. And then she was like saying, she was like bitching at me, and then I was like embarrassed. And
It was like while we were all getting food.
Yeah, and I was like, oh great, here we freaking go. And then like I was telling Valerie is that my other memory of y'all or all of you guys in general was that same day when we went to the J, and I was like, oh my gosh, look at those girls, they're on their bikinis, like they're the two-piece, and then me and my Lee were like in t-shirts and shorts, and I was like, whoa, they're so brave, like in front of the homo G's, you know, because back in the days we didn't think like that. So I was like, oh my god, they're so brave. I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, I wish I could do that. I was like, I don't think I could ever do that. And now I'm thinking back at it, I'm like, oh my gosh, what happened after that? Like a few years went by, and my mom was like,
You need to get
encouraging you to work.
you need to go get a job. I was 15 at this time, and she goes, they're working at McDonald's. You could go apply. I was like, oh, really? So then I applied, and then we met. You were they were the ones that trained me too.
Were you really?
I think I could have sworn you were training me. I could have sworn at one point Valerie was training me because she was like training me on the front counter and training me how to do this and that. I don't know if you weren't manager yet at the time. You guys were both still in red t-shirts. We were all in the red shirts because we were underage. It was only on Saturdays.
Working front counter.
Working front counter, being runner, and the rest
In
was
the lobby.
history, yo. Like I remember, it was
days.
honestly my first job ever. Was it y'all's first job too?
Yeah.
It was our first jobs ever.
Yes.
And we had a blast. Like we literally, I don't
made
know
it
when we
fun.
started. We just became close. I can't even remember how we started becoming close. I think I just
'Cause we
remember
worked together.
just working
Yeah,
together and just talking all the time and just like, I don't know, the connection.
I think we're just
there.
being
It was
silly all the time,
kids.
like trying to make it not so serious.
Yeah.
Because I think like working so young, like
Because we were kids.
we were literally
Yeah.
kids, like 14.
Literally kids were
15.
running that McDonald's. And
For
that
real.
McDonald's
X.
was on 116.
Yes, it was superior.
It was the best McDonald's ever. Shade to 76. But that McDonald's was the 116th
Yes.
location. And that's why this is the 116th hotline. Because that's
where-
what brought us really all together.
That was like our foundation. Like
Yeah,
where we
literally.
started. Like our
It literally molded us to
how
be.
our-
Literally. We
Yeah.
were there for years too.
years to the point where we finally went from red shirt to blue
Blue
shirt. You don't
shirts?
know that
Yeah.
red is.
If you don't know the black and gray shirts from the crew trainer, the
Yeah.
new and improved.
Man, it was a vibe. Yeah, just like working together, like as kids, working there, going through like dumb stuff together, like just work wise. Remember how I told you I cried at work because one of our manager was yelling at me?
Really?
And I was
Yes.
the kid. It was toxic. Now
Yeah,
I'm
it
thinking
was.
about
It was.
It
It
was
was
a lot of
toxic.
the managers there,
old,
bro.
Yes.
old managers yelling at 14-year-olds.
Like really, your big old self yelling
And
at
she
little
big
kids.
too.
And it was just like emotional damage, literally.
Yes, it
as
was.
kids, we were still learning how to like even
Function in the
function
world,
with our
yeah.
I think that's why we got so close too, because we were like bonding over that.
yeah.
Trauma bonding.
Traumatizing. Yeah.
through a workspace. Yeah, literally. But then also, I mean, with that, we also like had a lot of good things because like I said, I
Yes.
think that job really helped me with my work
Work ethic.
like till this day. I'm fast, we can
Work
multitask,
ethic.
especially multitasking.
Like
Yes.
a sense of urgency.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, somebody's doing it slower, give me that and what I'm doing, and I can do it twice as fast.
Yes, ma'am.
We were
Yes.
working, bending over backwards for just $7 an hour, bro.
I
Me and
know.
Valerie
I
used
still-
to work,
I still have my
like-
first paycheck.
You really?
Yeah.
Me and Valerie used to work like 14, 16-hour days.
Dude,
OSHA, if you're hearing this,
Yes. Child
no,
labor laws. For
seriously,
real.
we were like 14, 15 working 14, 16 hour
We would work
shifts.
so much. Now that I think about it, I'm like, that shit was illegal. Because
It
we would be
was.
there
Yes.
from like 8
a.m.
8 to like 2 and then 4 to
Come
10.
back. Yes.
I remember that.
Like was
I remember my
freaking
very first time.
illegal.
Whenever you clock out and it shows how many hours.
Yes.
I remember the first time that I did that, and it was like 14. I was like, dang. I was like, I'm gonna get this big check.
I know.
Let me get this $100 check.
I checked like $200. I was like, woo, first check, man. It was.
My
Tell
first
me
check
we
was
thought that was
$53.
Really?
I still have my check stub, my very first
We
check
really
stub.
sat there as 14, 15 years old, and we picked up double shifts. I can't believe we
Literally.
did that, dude.
And that's why we hustlers now.
Look at us.
But I mean, you think about kids nowadays, they don't even
Ain't
get
no way.
jobs.
Ain't no way they
No.
can. And
No
they're
way.
not even allowed to work past like what, like 8, 9 o'clock.
9 p.m. Yeah.
Brian told me that at Dick's Sporting Goods, like if they're minors, they can't even work past like a certain time. And
Oh,
I'm like,
really?
yeah, it's crazy, dude. And
Damn, we used to do
They must have
this
gotten
till, like
stricter.
11 p.m.
Mhm.
Thank you, OSHA. Thank you, child labor laws.
You wasn't there for us then, okay?
so yeah, that's the whole backstory of the 116. That's how we came up with that.
And then Hotline, just because our conversations are always hot. It's always fire. It's always a good topic. It always makes you want to call up, ring the podcast because it's, on fire. Like, ooh, what's on this hotline? Yeah.
So if you guys want to hear more, stay tuned for our next episodes. And we're going to be coming out with a lot more content, so you guys stay tuned. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and TikTok as well. So make sure you guys follow us. Okay, bye.
See you next time.
Bye.